started out with tarot cards and just have always been interested. And I remember as a kid going, I wish I was psychic. I wish I was psychic. But
Mm.
I remember like when I was a kid, I would always get in trouble for finishing people's sentences. And as
Oh,
a Gen
wow.
Xer, you didn't do that back in the, 70s and 80s. You didn't do that for adults. You got in trouble for that,
Yes, yes.
Um, so there was a lot of times where I just knew things and I didn't know how I knew things, but I just thought everybody knew things. And so I just thought maybe I was just normal, like everybody had the same things I was getting. So
Right.
fast forward to, my kids are all in existence at this point, and I'm like, I want to get back to tarot cards. And I had had a number of psychic mediums tell me, I started going to psychics when I was maybe 22, and they
Mm.
would tell me, well, you're going to do this work. Like, I'm not psychic though. Like, oh, yeah, you are. What do you mean you're not? Yeah, you are. Just start with tarot cards. So
Mhm.
that's where I started, was just learning tarot cards, and I was overwhelmed with, learning the meanings of them, and uh, and so I would just practice on my friends. I was learning and practicing and looking things up in the book, and I was just kind of getting to know the cards. But then what I found was when I look in the book, certain words would almost highlight themselves and jump off the page at me.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. I guess I'll say that because, in a tarot book, if you're learning tarot, a tarot book can have like 25 different meanings for
Yes.
one card. They all had the same. What I learned was they have the same undertone. It's got the same undertone, but um, it took years for me to figure that out. So I just was like, oh, whatever jumps off the page, that's the thing that I'm supposed to say. And it resonated every time. So I learned to
Yes.
trust that. And then as I got further along, I would say things to people like to lower the expectations. Like, listen, I'm not a medium. I'm not, I'm just reading the cards, but they knew I was into it. And so I had a lot of people willing to sit good deal with me practicing on them. But then I would get messages in my head. I'd hear things in my head, be like, why do I feel like saying da 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 da? Or, a card would mean, I would know that a card would mean something, but all of a sudden something on the card was standing out differently. And so I would talk about that weird